to Gridiron Ring, a sports talk show covering football and professional wrestling. I'm your host, the Encyclopedia Sports Cool Hand Luke 96. First off, I want to say before I get into my thoughts and opinions following WrestleMania 35 weekend, is that hey, YOUTUBE, bleep, bleep. Now you can interpret that however you like, however you want, but if you did not know, I am back to live streaming over on Periscope once again. Link is in the description below, because, well, I was getting ready for everything WWE related during WrestleMania 35 weekend this past weekend, NXT TakeOver New York, the Hall of Fame ceremony, WrestleMania 35, Raw and SmackDown Live then after Mania, and then at that point I find out that due to YouTube changing their policy for YouTube Live, stating, and I quote, this is directly from YouTube, we've changed the threshold for YouTube Live on mobile. To be able to stream on mobile, channels now need to have 1,000 subscribers. Well, unfortunately, Gridiron Ring only has 358 subscribers at this point in time. So, in the meantime, until further notice, I myself, Cool Hand Luke 96 of Gridiron Ring, will be streaming live back over on Periscope. Be sure to subscribe though right here on YouTube if you haven't done so already, so I can start live streaming right here on YouTube once again in the future. And also to thank you to everyone who tuned in and watched my live reactions play-by-play of NXT TakeOver New York, WrestleMania 35, and the Raw and SmackDown Live after Mania. So now that I got that out of the way, WrestleMania weekend as a whole was pretty good, I thought. We're going to dive deep into all the events and let you hear my side of the story, my thoughts and opinions on WrestleMania 35 weekend, plus my predictions for the WWE Superstar Shakeup next week. Hopefully you enjoy. If you do, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and also like, follow, and subscribe to Gridiron Ring and myself, Cool Hand Luke 96 on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, right here on YouTube, and also on Periscope, as that is where I'm live streaming once again, doing live reactions, play-by-play of college and NFL football games and WWE pay-per-views. We have the WWE Superstar Shakeup next Monday and Tuesday on Raw and SmackDown Live respectively. NFL Draft coming up as well, starting on April the 25th, and then WWE Money in the Bank on May the 19th. Now also, I'm going to be starting live reactions, play-by-play of flashback events that have already took place, such as older football games and WWE pay-per-views. Now the original plan was to do those streams right here on YouTube, but since I switched back to Periscope because of the new YouTube policy, that's where those will take place. Let me know down in the comments below now what older football games and WWE pay-per-views, wrestling pay-per-views in general, you would like me to do live reactions play-by-play of. Now as well, will be uploading the stream right here to YouTube afterwards, but be sure to tune into Periscope when I'm on live streaming for the best experience possible of my live reactions play-by-play of college and NFL football games and WWE events. Always greatly appreciated for all the viewers, all the comments in the chat, whether it be right here on YouTube or over on Periscope, all the likes, the super hearts, along with all the shares and follows on social media. Once again, Cool Hand Luke 96 over on Twitter and Periscope, links in the description below, and I hope to see everyone next time I am live. Okay, now, WrestleMania weekend, this past weekend, we'll start with NXT TakeOver New York first, as that was the first event of the weekend. First thing that happened during NXT TakeOver New York, they had the final of the WWE 2K19 $1 Million Challenge between the phenomenal AJ Styles and the Golden Voice himself, Stephon Benson. Benson ended up defeating Styles in quick fashion using the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar and then winning $1 million. So congrats to Stephon Benson. All NXT championships were on the line as well last Friday night at NXT TakeOver New York, and we had two of those titles change hands, but the entire card was stacked. The opening contest that was set for one fall was for the NXT Tag Team Championships, and the War Raiders defended and defeated the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners, that being the tag team of the Dutch Destroyer, Aleister Black, and the one and only Ricochet. Great match, but the War Raiders retained, and then Aleister and Ricochet got their final send-off from NXT, as they'll be competing up on the main roster now full time. They've been competing on both Raw and SmackDown Live since their debut, but with the Superstar Shakeup now next week on Raw and SmackDown, we could see them be put on just one of those brands. Maybe they'll compete on both like they are right now, or the WWE, could very well split up Aleister Black and Ricochet and have one be on Raw and the other be on SmackDown Live and vice versa. But what I think would be best is just continue to do what you're currently doing right now with the former NXT and former NXT North American champion, that being Aleister Black and Ricochet respectively, and that's have them both compete on Raw and SmackDown Live for the foreseeable future, because they work so damn well together, in my opinion, and have this happen up until one of them turns on each other, that probably being Aleister Black, because in my opinion as well, he could work as a heel full time if need be. Velveteen Dream defeated Matt Riddle to retain the NXT North American Championship, and it looks like they'll continue that feud for a while unless they throw Riddle into the NXT Championship picture, which right now they could, but I think Dream would get there beforehand, so the Velveteen Dream would have to drop the NXT North American Championship to either Riddle, maybe Dominic Dijakovic, Cassius Ohno, but he's on NXT UK right now, maybe Keith Lee, or even Punishment Martinez or Trevor Lee, but also do something like another winner-take-all with Johnny Gargano, who won the NXT Championship on Friday, and Velveteen Dream for both the NXT Championship and NXT North American Championship. But I don't see that happening because NXT tries to distance themselves a little bit, it seems like, from the main roster, and that's why sometimes NXT is better than both Raw and SmackDown Live. I mean, we'll see what happens, but Velveteen Dream is still your NXT North American champion right now after NXT TakeOver New York this past Friday night. The ring general Walter finally captured gold in the WWE, winning the NXT United Kingdom Championship from Pete Dunne, who was champion for almost 2 years. Now, if they were smart and you want Walter to look as strong as you possibly can, you have Walter be NXT UK champion for longer than what Pete Dunne was. I believe it was 685 days, if I'm not mistaken, and have him be the face of that division moving forward. Now, Superstar Shakeup next week, if anyone would come over from NXT UK to the States, whether be for just regular NXT or the main roster, Raw or SmackDown Live, maybe even 205 Live, it's going to be Pete Dunne, I think. He's made a name for himself up to this point, but they might not have anyone whatsoever either, and I'd be alright with that because NXT UK is going to need as many superstars as they can get to build that brand up into WWE's fourth brand and take over Europe. Shayna Baszler retained. She defeated Bianca Belair, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai in a fatal four-way to retain her NXT Women's Championship. Looks like Baszler will be staying NXT for a while now, even though I think she should get called up, because with Ronda Rousey done and gone, hopefully for a while up on the main roster on Monday Night Raw, there's now not a woman with a MMA background on the main roster. Insert Shayna Baszler, as I said last week, but with her retaining, I highly doubt it now. But in the past, NXT champions have wrestled on Raw and SmackDown Live, so who knows what the WWE has planned. I have heard that the superstars on Raw and SmackDown, they don't even know what is going to happen next week during the Superstar Shakeup. But however, Paige did announce this past week on SmackDown that next week during the Superstar Shakeup that she'll be bringing a women's tag team to the main roster. I've had some thoughts on this. It could be Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, maybe Jess Duke and Maria Shriver, but they're always with Baszler. But maybe that stable of Baszler, Maria Shriver, and Jess Duke, maybe that whole stable comes up to the main roster. We'll have to find out and see what the big surprise is that Paige has planned for us now next week on the Superstar Shakeup. Then in the main event of NXT TakeOver New York, Johnny Gargano went toe-to-toe with Adam Cole, baby, of the Undisputed Era in a 2 out of 3 Falls Count Anywhere match for the vacant NXT Championship. Now, if you were listening earlier, I already spilled the beans and said that Gargano became NXT Champion last Friday night, and he did. He defeated Adam Cole even after help from the Undisputed Era to win his first NXT Championship and become the first NXT Triple Crown Champion after winning the NXT Tag Team Championships with Tommaso Ciampa with DIY, the NXT North American Championship, and now the NXT Championship. They could continue Gargano Cole until Tommaso Ciampa is healthy enough to return. He's currently on the shelf with a neck injury, and then send Cole and the Undisputed Era to the main roster, maybe. Maybe they get sent up next week during the Superstar Shakeup. Who knows? I don't know. I don't even think WWE knows at this point in time. I honestly don't know, but I would book it as Gargano just continues to defeat everyone in NXT until Ciampa comes back, and then he wants, as he calls it, Goldie, his NXT championship back, and then turns on Gargano once again to continue the DIY feud between Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. WrestleMania now, as WrestleMania was this past Sunday, April the 7th, 2019, at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, home of the NFL's New York Football Giants and New York Jets. NFL Draft coming up starting April 25th. Once again, as I said earlier, I will be live over on Periscope now, doing live reactions play of the first round, so be sure to tune in. Kickoff show for WrestleMania, though, started around 5 p.m. with the first match beginning about 20 minutes later with the Cruiserweight Championship on the line as Buddy Murphy defended versus Tony Nese, but the Aussie from Down Under, his championship reign came to an end after Tony Nese hit a running Nese on Alexa Bliss's companion, Buddy Murphy, to become the new Cruiserweight Champion. Next, the Battle Royals. Women's was up next, and they had all 17 women except for Naomi and Asuka come down together without any entrance music. Ember Moon, however, did make a return, so I was happy about that, but was taken out early by, I believe, Lana, if I'm not mistaken. But as the match went on, Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad was taking guys out left and right, and thought she had won before the Princess of Staten Island herself, Carmella, appeared from ringside after she wasn't officially eliminated, and then threw Logan over the top rope to win the second ever Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Made sense, as sometimes the WWE has superstars win in their hometowns, but more often than not they don't. But they gave Carmella her WrestleMania moment with the Princess of Staten Island kicking off WrestleMania in a FABULOUS fashion. Speaking of WrestleMania moments in your hometown, the tag team of Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder won the Raw Tag Team Championships over the Revival, as Kurt Hawkins' losing streak came to an end after 269 consecutive losses, and then also defeated the Revival in a rematch on the Raw after Mania in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. To me, that was the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, for the Revival on Monday Night Raw. I think now they'll get shipped over to SmackDown Live during the Superstar Shakeup next week to get off to a fresh start. Tag team reign of Hawkins and Ryder, though, probably won't last long on Monday Night Raw. Maybe a returning AOP, Authors of Pain. Maybe the Undisputed Era gets caught up with Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Maybe they win the Raw Tag Team titles. Maybe the Bar, as they were on Raw, ending the main event between Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins for another winner-take-all for the WWE and Universal Championships, respectively. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are also there, along with the B-Team, the Ascension, Heavy Machinery. What about Fashion Police, though? I know Fandango's been injured, but bring Fandango back from his injury and have him tag team with Tyler Breeze once again. I think people would really like that. Maybe the Usos as well, after they lost on SmackDown Live to the Hardy Boys. We'll just have to see, but I think the Raw Tag Team division is probably going to suck once again unless they really shake things up. Then on the SmackDown side, you still have Gallows and Anderson, Sanity, the New Day, who will probably be staying put up until they turn on Kofi or Kofi turns on them. Did see earlier today, though, that Big E will be out of action for a little while. Got his knee scoped out, so he'll be taking some time off, it looks like. Looks like Randy Orton will be feuding with Mustafa Ali as well, since AJ Styles is injured. X-rays came back negative, though. No broken bones in the Phenomenal One, so hopefully he can come back very, very soon. Kevin Owens feuding with Rusev, it looks like right now, too. And maybe a tag team of RKO, Randy, Kevin Owens, as a tag team until they feud with each other. WWE is teasing a lot of storylines right now. So after next week, we'll get a clear picture with what they have planned. Braun Strowman won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and then came out and attacked Samoa Joe after Joe attacked R-Truth on SmackDown Live. Hell yeah, give me Braun and Joe for the United States Championship. Maybe this is going to be Braun's push until they believe he's ready for either the WWE or Universal Championship. Yeah, give me Strowman and Joe on either Raw or SmackDown Live. I would prefer SmackDown Live just to give both of them a great feud, but I think the mid-card titles are going to be changing brands, and Braun would probably get buried, unfortunately, on SmackDown unless they used him like they used The Undertaker and The Big Show back in the day on the blue brand. Mid-card titles changing hands, though, I believe. Samoa Joe, I think, is going to go to Raw with the United States Championship, and then Finn Balor would have to go over to SmackDown Live with the Intercontinental Championship, and then maybe a two-sweet reunion with the club, just like AJ Styles teased on Twitter the other day. Then maybe down the road you have a feud with AJ and Finn, finally, over control of the club in the WWE. Seth frickin' Rollins and the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar kicked off WrestleMania with the Universal Championship on the line, and the Beast Slayer burned Suplex City to the ground, even after getting manhandled ringside before the match even started, but then hit a low blow on the Beast that the ref did not see, and then 3 curb stomps before pinning Brock 1, 2, 3, and winning the Universal Championship for the first time in his career. Brock will probably be gone now for a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up wrestling at the next Saudi Arabia show in June. Got pushed back from May to June now, if you did not know. Randy Orton and AJ Styles then went at it, and the Phenomenal One defeated the Viper, but was reportedly injured in the match and was not on either Raw or SmackDown Live after Mania, as I said earlier, but reports of x-rays came back negative, so AJ looks good to go. Hopefully he can come back very, very soon. Orton, as I said a moment ago, looks to now be feuding with Mustafa Ali, with Styles injured, but Styles could be coming back. I think they'll continue that feud once he does, after Orton hit a RKO out of nowhere on Mustafa Ali. So we'll see what happens. Maybe a triple threat with 3 of them. A lot of options for the WWE right now with Superstar Shakeup next week. The Usos then defended and defeated Aleister Black and Ricochet, The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, and Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura to retain the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. But then, as I said a moment ago as well, they lost to the Hardy Boys on SmackDown Live. So the Hardy Boys, they're your new SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. So potential feud with the Hardys in the Revival if they go to the blue brand. The New Day's over there as well. Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, Aleister Black and Ricochet for both Raw and SmackDown Live tag team titles, but deep down I honestly don't know what they're going to do with the tag team division on Raw and SmackDown, because I don't know what they have planned for the Superstar Shakeup right now, and they might not know right now either. Like I said earlier, I don't even think they know what they're going to do, but we'll see what happens come next week. Shane McMahon over The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Then Shane's segment on SmackDown made no sense to me, because at this point in time they're basically just beating a dead horse with the best in the world. Now, unless this is going to set up a feud with a man that goes by the name of Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, then I would be alright with it, but please stop with the best in the world shit. It's getting so damn tiring. It's making no sense right now. Hopefully this past week on SmackDown was the last we saw that. WrestleMania was also iconic after the Iconics won the Women's Tag Team Championships over the Boston Hug connection of Bayley and Sasha Banks, the Divas of Doom, Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and Nia Jax and Tamina, who could retire for all I care, and I don't think anyone will give a damn, but that's that. Then WrestleMania turned into Kofi Mania after Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan to win his first ever WWE Championship in the best match of the night, in my opinion. We'll probably get a rematch between these two at Money in the Bank, if not sooner. Samoa Joe then with a real quick win over an injured Rey Mysterio to retain the United States Championship. Roman Reigns also over Drew McIntyre. Reigns will stay on Raw and feud with, who knows, probably Baron Corbin. But I think he'll turn on Seth Rollins right before SummerSlam, leading to a match between the two former Shield brothers at the biggest show of the summer. The Game, Triple H, and the Animal Batista squared off in a no-holds-barred match, and this match was pretty good, but the King of Kings won, so his career will continue on for now. But then Dave Batista announced on Twitter that he is now officially retired from the world of sports entertainment. So thank you, Batista. You've always been one of my favorites. I remember when I first started watching WWE, Batista was in a feud with The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown, WrestleMania 23. because at that time I would only watch SmackDown and not Raw, but now I watch everything, so I don't miss a thing, as Aerosmith would say. Speaking of a musician in the WWE, Elias had his WrestleMania concert before the Doctor of Thugonomics himself, John Cena, came out and hit the Drifter with a 5-knuckle shuffle, and then a fuck you and F you to Elias from John Cena. Then on Raw the next night, Elias got interrupted by the Phenom, the Dead Man, the Undertaker, before getting chokeslammed and tombstone piledrived straight to hell, which more than likely sets up a match between the two somewhere down the road. Been here, and it's going to take place at the next Saudi Arabia event for the WWE. Baron Corbin then defeated Kurt Angle in the Olympic gold medalist final match inside a WWE ring, and that's just the way it should have gone. Angle then on Raw the next night hit Corbin with an angle slam and then had him in an angle lock before Lars Sullivan, of all people, came out and took out Kurt Angle. Lars also took out the Hardy Boys on SmackDown after they won the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, so it looks like Lars Sullivan is going to be a destructive force for the time being, taking out other superstars left and right. Now, they also started running these Bray Wyatt vignettes on both Raw and SmackDown this week, so unless they have something else planned for the Eater of Worlds, I would put Bray up against Lars just to get him back in the fold and get Lars off to the right start after finally making his debut. The Demon Finn Balor then defeated the almighty Bobby Lashley in the co-main event of WrestleMania to become Intercontinental Champion once again. Lashley the next night on Raw laid out Dean Ambrose in his final appearance in the WWE, so I don't know what they have planned for him, Lashley that is, right now, but they made him look strong in the meantime. Lashley will continue to be a heel one way or another. Balor then on Raw defended the Intercontinental title versus a returning Sami Zayn and won over the underdog from the Underground. However, after the match, Sami Zayn ended up turning heel. Balor, like I said, I think he and Joe will switch brands as the mid-card champions, but if that takes place, SmackDown would be losing a great single heel in Samoa Joe, so maybe have Drew McIntyre go to SmackDown and compete for the Intercontinental Championship, a title he has held before in the WWE. Have Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor, or Drew McIntyre versus the WWE Champion Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, but right now I guess McIntyre is currently penciled in to face Seth frickin' Rollins for the Universal Championship. A lot to figure out though with the Superstar Shakeup, but that's for damn sure. Then in the main event of WrestleMania 35, for the first time ever, the women ended the show, headlined WrestleMania with a triple threat in a winner-take-all match for both Raw and SmackDown Live Women's Championships. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, and the man Becky Lynch finally came around and pinned Ronda, whether her shoulder was down or not, for the entire 3 count. That's how it ended, and Becky stood tall in the middle of the ring with both women's championships to become the first ever dual, as WWE is saying right now, dual undisputed women's champion. Now, next week for the Superstar Shakeup, I really don't think a whole lot is going to happen. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 returns, but it's probably just going to be some superstars switching brands from NXT to either Raw or SmackDown, and then from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, vice versa. You get what I'm saying there. So this is the 3rd time I think the WWE has had the Superstar Shakeup. The past 3 years after WrestleMania, right after WrestleMania, they've done this. And it all started when they brought back the brand split summer of 2016 with the draft. Now, Fox is moving to Friday nights this fall in October. So this Superstar Shakeup right now might not last long. They might have another one or a draft right after SummerSlam leading into Fox, the Fox deal on Friday nights, making SmackDown live on Friday nights. It's been on Friday nights before, Thursday and Friday nights before, but at that point in time, it was still being taped on Tuesdays and then airing later on in the week. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this audio recording, this video right here on Gridiron Ring's YouTube channel. As I said, I'm live streaming over on Periscope once again, so be sure to follow me over on Twitter and Periscope, CoolHandLuke96. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Hope to see everybody now next week for my live reactions, play-by-play of the Raw and SmackDown Live episodes during the WWE Superstar Shakeup 2019.